I'm Brittany Lehman, and we are back with my wonderful guest, Tammy Sun, CEO of Carrot. Tammy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
What is Carrot for those who are just tuning in?
We make it easy for companies of any size to offer employees fertility benefits. That means companies can help employees access fertility testing, egg freezing, IVF, adoption, as well as third-party reproduction like donor eggs, donor sperm, and gestational carriers.
And it's so important what you're doing, and you kind of came about with this idea from your own personal experience, so just briefly kind of touch on that.
Yeah, I did egg freezing when I was at Evernote, and I did 3 rounds, and it cost me nearly $40,000. And so it became a huge, huge pain point for me personally, and as I began to look around, I understood that this was something that a lot of people feel.
Definitely. So we were talking about the challenges around funding before we took a break. Can you kind of touch on that pain point that you were facing when you were looking to raise money?
Yeah, I think, at the time, it was probably fair for me to get rejected a bunch of times because the product wasn't at a place where it was scalable and we hadn't quite found product market fit yet. But, raising money is difficult and raising money in Silicon Valley as a female founder is obviously more difficult. I think when you just look at the stats, only 2% of female founder CEOs actually receive VC money.
Right.
And so, you just have to be really resilient and you have to find creative ways to make the problem that you're trying to solve resonate with people who may not have a natural tendency for understanding it.
What would you say one of the most rewarding aspects about starting Carrot has been?
The most rewarding thing is really seeing the impact that we have on people's lives and getting customer feedback from the HR leaders who are really the ones, I think, pushing the envelope in this category around access to care. And so, we hear stories of people who, come to their HR person after Carrot has been announced and cry because they're so grateful. Or, we obviously see news on a regular basis about people having access to Carrot and then being able to, get access to IVF or do their egg freezing. So those are really the most rewarding moments.
And it's really important to talk about because men, women, whoever, it's kind of, people are having kids later in life.
Yeah.
And kind of tell me, did that also inspire you to start Carrot?
Yeah, I mean, when you look around, the trend is the demographic trend is really all over the country as well as all many other developed countries. And so, for the first time ever in this country, there are more women having kids above the age of 30 than below the age of 30, and so that is going to just continue to develop, and the ages are going to continue to move up. So, the implications of that trend for what the future of work looks like, as well as the future of fertility, in our view, means that fertility is going to become a table stakes part of what people expect when they come to work. It's going to be medical, dental, vision, and fertility coverage.
I love that. And what advice do you have for companies that want to kind of diversify their healthcare benefit offerings?
Go to carrotfertility.com and come talk to us about sort of the ways that we can customize a plan for you. The great thing about Carrot is that it's not just for big companies. It's for medium-sized companies with several thousand people. It doesn't have to be hundreds of thousands of people and jumbo employers who historically have been the only ones who can afford this type of care. We make it customizable and accessible for companies of any size to deploy this so that their employees can have access to fertility coverage.
That's great. And I want to talk about the transition. You were an employee and then you were suddenly your own boss. What is it kind of like being your own boss and then managing other people?
Well, it takes quite a bit of humility to scale yourself as well. There are lots of things that I've learned along the way where I've had to make mistakes and try again. But, we've been really fortunate, and I've been personally very fortunate to build an incredibly strong team. And so, there's lots of people at the company now who can do lots of things way better than me.
And where can people learn more about Carrot and about you?
Carrotfertility.com. That's where you can learn more about how the product works, what some of the user feedback, what some of the employee feedback is, and then there's an About Us page, and you can learn a little bit more about sort of our founding story and the founding team.
Well, thank you so much, Tammy. It was such a pleasure to interview you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
This is Business Rockstars. That was my wonderful guest, Tammy Sun, CEO of Carrot.